Welcome to Go Off and Create the podcast where we talk to people about how they use their skill to go off and create. And today, I'm the host, Cam, let me say that first. And today I'm sitting down with Fatima. Welcome, Fatima.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good, I'm happy to be here.
Good, I'm glad to have you. So
Thank
Fatima,
you.
how do you go off and create?
How do I create? That's a complicated question. Right. So for the last 20 years, I've been a makeup artist. I've worked with people like Target, Lord & Taylor, Saks Fifth Avenue, Fantasia, Anthony Hamilton, Lizzo. And then in 2020, I went back to school to become an esthetician. And now I am creating a culture for wellness through my company, Bamboo.
Ooh, I love it.
Thank you.
By the way, you look great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what led you to this journey? Like, have you always wanted to go into beauty and wellness, or?
Yeah. So yes and no. So I've always had like a niche for fashion.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother and my grandmother's the oldest of 13, and they were part of the Great Migration. Her and her siblings, where they moved from Camden, South Carolina, to New York. So I was always surrounded by my great aunts and uncles as well. And I was always in some type of dress that looked like at the top of a cake. And I kind of loved it. And I remember like some of my earliest memories are doing cutouts of pieces of paper and, making outfits for the dolls. And another memory is we had an arts and craft project in kindergarten, I think it was. And we were doing something with tissue paper, and I was using red tissue paper, and it got wet and it stained my fingers. And I was like, wait a second, I can use this for lipstick.
Really?
So
that's where your mind was like, oh, I got this.
Yeah. Because I had a dance recital the year earlier, and that was the first time I put on lipstick, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Change your role.
So I put the tissue paper, the red, and I stained my lips red. And
I would never have made that discovery. I just learned something right now.
So yeah, that was there, but I think it was when I moved to Colorado. Mm-hmm. And I just had a different environment there. And a lot of the girls in middle school were wearing makeup. And I used to sneak off in the bathroom with my friends whose parents would allow them to wear makeup. And we would do it in the bathroom. And I kind of continued doing that and learning and just having that, community in the bathroom, that girls' time. But then I moved to North Carolina, still kept wearing makeup. And in the South, in the early 2000s and the end of the 90s, women weren't, especially in school, they weren't really wearing makeup. So it was more like, what do you have on your face?
Right.
But then I want to say moving towards the 2000s is when I really started to hear people say, well, can you do that for, my wedding? Or that's when people started asking more about it. And
did that make you feel like, oh, there's something here? Like,
I think so. But honestly, I don't think really I heard it, but I didn't really hear it until probably last year where people were really asking me. So yeah, I just started a business from doing friends and family, and things picked up. Now we're in college and things are really picking up. And I decided to leave school, and my mom was not happy about it. But she said, if you're going to leave school, at least go to cosmetology school. So I did that. And I helped put myself through school by doing makeup in nightclubs and gentlemen clubs for the strippers.
They need makeup
entertainers.
Too. Yeah, entertainers. Yeah, they need makeup too.
Yeah, and so, I still have relationships with some of those girls. They really helped put me through school. So,
awesome.
Yeah, but I'm just now hearing, what people are really asking for. And I think part of that is me going back to school after becoming an esthetician to become an educator.
Yeah.
And I learned way more than just how to teach. I learned how to listen and how to come up with a plan or a regimen for each, question almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting because, you mentioned like you've been in this industry for over 20 years, and it's so fascinating to hear like you're just now being like, I'm starting my own business and I'm really starting to take the plunge, if you will. And I'm mentioning that because there's so many people who may think it's too late, or they may think like, I can't. Like, there's so many people who do it or whatever the case may be. So, and you're saying I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm just now feeling like I got what I need to like do my own thing. So I feel like it's what is it, the marathon?
Yeah,
it's a marathon.
Continues. Yeah,
but I think that's super cool. And then also for your family to support you, because I feel like makeup is a necessity. Like, I feel like you always like need it. Like, even if you don't know how to do it, like somebody who can do it is very beneficial. But so you mentioned your business is called Bamboo
House.
House. That's house, Haus.
Yes.
But can you explain like what that is?
So I think it's I've tried something like this before, and it was just facials and, makeup services. And I felt like people were asking for more. And now I can hear you in a way asking for more, or you're coming back with more experiences, because the skin is the largest organ on the body, right? Skin communicates with you. And I feel like I was introducing some of my clients to their skin and their health care by, seeing that they were having breakouts and where the breakouts are placed. Sometimes that correlates to different organs. Certain breakouts, the way they look, are more hormonal. Certain breakouts are more you're allergic to something. So after giving thorough consultations and, giving my clients more insight on their skin, some of them went off to go see internal doctors, and they found out that they were allergic to different things, or they found out that it was stress related. So they went and, did yoga or had therapy. So I was seeing clients come back with a different experience. And so that's what I want to offer with Bamboo House, is more of a collective experience where you can get a facial, or, you can get a membership. You can get a referral for a sound bath, a yoga class. So it's more of a collective community. Also, I feel as though people are wanting more community when it comes to their wellness. As someone who's, will be turning 40 next month, things start to shift in what you call fun and what you call community, in a sense. And especially here in Atlanta, people love to be outside or be socializing, which I feel like is a little different from my experience being from New York and living in Colorado. So wellness groups and clubs do a little better when it comes to creating a community around your wellness. And I also feel like it's important to know that we're not alone. I think also as people of color, we're just now in a place where we're able to think about wellness and what that looks like for us. That's why I say creating a culture for wellness, because we have, as people, have created a ton of cultures, rap, clothes, we just seen at the Met Gala, fine and dandy. And so now it's time to create a culture around our well-being and what that looks for us, and also being responsible about, even debunking some of the things that your aunt or your great grandma told you about your skin, and just using Dove. It's time to have that collective conversation, and that's what we're doing with Bamboo.
I love that.
Thank you.
I really do. Thank you for explaining it. So like, because you're just now starting Bamboo, and of course you have like a new perspective on, I guess, the beauty industry. Have you do you know like how it evolved for you? Like, since you've been in it for 20 years, like how has it evolved for you?
That's a great question. I think for me personally, it evolved for me as I'm not asking for permission anymore. I think, having a successful career in Charlotte, North Carolina, and New York, going back to New York, because I was born in New York, but I raised there. But I think I was asking for permission. Look at my portfolio. I want to get an agency. I want to do these jobs, where now it's like I can take that collective experience and create something that I'm not asking for permission. If you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. So does that kind of answer the question?
No, it does. I mean, because like, it's not, I think it's very natural for us to be like, oh, well, I need someone to open this door, or I need someone to kind of like give me the okay. But I mean, the work is the work, like, and it's it's the proof. So you don't need to ask permission. I've seen her work. Okay, she's done work on me, so I think I think she's great. So how's the industry changed over the 20 years? Since you've been doing makeup for 20 years, how has that changed? Like, is there any makeup trends that you're like, yes, or are there any you're like, I don't know
Yeah.
why people are doing this?
It's funny. It's funny enough. I had a client last weekend, and she was telling me, there's a new trend going around with using your setting or your translucent powder, it being tinted like pink or purple, and that's been around for so long. But now it's coming around as a trend, and I think seeing trends come and go. I'll be honest. I get a little bored, or when friends come back and tell me, oh, did you see this new lip? Did you see? It's very rare that I see something that I'm like, oh, wow, that's kind of new, fresh, and innovative. I think what we've seen change is more like in the industry. I think, 20 years ago, we were being more guided into taking ourselves seriously as a makeup artist and, having your portfolio, your book, but you had to stay in that lane to be taken seriously by agencies. You couldn't mix bridal on your website with, editorial, and you also didn't want to be on YouTube.
Right.
And I think, I remember, I think it's Mario DeCavanelli, who's Kim Kardashian's makeup artist, said his agency told him, don't work with her. This is going to be a trend. This isn't going anywhere. And now you go into Sephora, and he has a very successful line along with her. So I think social media came in. I came right in at the beginning of social media, where it's like, do you want to be a YouTuber, or you want to be taken seriously as a makeup artist? And so now you can have your personal brand, and your personal brand can kind of almost launch your professional brand. So branding has changed a lot. And I think now more than ever, you have creative control over your brand way more than you had in the past.
Do you think like because of how it is now, it's created more like there's room for everybody? And I don't have no proof of this. I wasn't in the industry, because I feel like before they were embracing like social media as such, I think it might have been more cliquish or more like petty maybe. And so I feel like now that there's more avenues to make it, and it's not such a taboo thing to be a wedding makeup artist as well as a fashion makeup artist and whatnot. So do you think that it's created more of a healthier environment? Or
I think I want to say yes. I know it's healthier for me, because any type of energy where it's like petty or putting one against one another, I'm like out the door.
Yeah, absolutely.
I used to be a time where, I was like, well, let me see. But now I follow my intuition. And if it's funny, it's funny. And I'm not explaining it to anybody why I think that or why I disappeared. Like, I will Irish exit. I think that it can be what you make it. I do think community is important. I'm now in a focus group, accountability group, where this one is different for me, because every accountability group I've been with in the past were other creatives, makeup artists, photographers, stylists. But this one is just women in business. And I find this one to be actually a little more helpful, because, now that I'm thinking of myself as a business and not a freelancer, I'm learning a lot about what they know, and they also have fresh eyes on my industry. So I'm able to hear things like my client onboarding process, what that looks like, and it's giving me a fresher perspective. So community is important. But yeah, I think it is what you make it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so ideally, I don't know. We don't have to fast forward any years, but ideally for you, what would be success? Like, what would be your like main goal, like with Bamboo House?
That's such a great question. I would love to continue to consult brands, because I worked in pretty much every area of this business, from retail to campaigns, to just, I feel like there's a disconnect sometimes between the company and sometimes the founder and CEO and the client. And I'm working on something, an IP, where it takes you on a customer journey and how to turn your product from just, a personal care to a ritual. And I would love to do more of that, and just be more create a safe space for self-care for all of us. I think with the beauty and wellness market merging in 2020 into $1 trillion market, there's a lot of private equity companies coming in and wanting to, take advantage, and not to always take advantage. They just, they see the value in the business, but a lot of times, they don't see the value in our needs and what we have going on. So we're left out of the bigger picture as women or LGBTQ or, people of color. And I think I would love to see more inclusivity, and I would love to, be that and help other companies be that, because I can't do everything.
Absolutely.
But just be the architect and where wellness is going.
I can tell that self-care and self-wellness is important for you. Are there any challenges or surprises you faced over the years?
Yes. You ever heard the saying, the cobbler's kids have no shoes?
Absolutely not.
So it means the cobbler who makes these things, the kids don't have any shoes. They're doing so much for everyone else that they forget themselves. If you think about hairstylists, for the most part, they do hair on a regular basis, but how often do they actually do their own hair, take care of themselves?
Fair.
So the challenge has been me. When I really jumped into this in 2020, the world was kind of shut down. And so I had time and more resources to really take care of myself and my well-being. But as I tried to turn that into a business, I started to forget about me and take better care of others. So my goal this year is to give myself the same grace I give others. So that's been my biggest hurdle is me. And the more I take care of myself, the more, I attract people who need me.
100%. Yeah. That's fact though, because what do they say on the plane? When the little thing,
yes,
if they come down, they're you have to make sure your air supply is good before you help someone else. Yes. So it's the same thing in life. Put your mask on first, help yourself. It's not selfish. It's not selfish. Because if you're not well, how could you help others anyway?
You can't.
Okay, so just for fun.
Yeah.
I'm asking for myself.
Yeah.
Me, I'm the one who gets up and I don't really wear makeup that much, but if I do, I'd rather be quick and
yeah.
So if it's a 10-minute glam,
love
what is it, Fatima? What needs to happen?
So that's a loaded question. Are we talking about full glam?
No, not full glam. This is every day you're getting up. You want to have a fresh face, maybe.
Right. But are we talking about makeup or skincare?
Ooh.
So your skincare is already done and now we're just doing a 10-minute makeup, or you have 10 minutes for skin and makeup?
Oh, so that's 20 minutes.
Or is realistic,
I see what you're saying.
Realistically, do you have 10 minutes for both?
I do.
Okay.
So
you want to cleanse, cleanse, moisturize, and protect with sunscreen. You want to maybe do a light concealer, fill in your brows, blush, mascara, put on lip gloss in the car.
In the car?
In the car.
Okay, so concealer and brows, mascara.
And you could get away with lip and cheek in the car, because you could use something that's a lip and cheek. So a cream, or even a lipstick.
Okay.
On your lip and your cheek, and
okay.
I'm okay as long as you have protected your skin.
Okay. Yes.
SPF. And I always think the cheeks and the eyes are kind of what make you look alive.
Alive. Okay.
So a little mascara, a little cheek, lip gloss in the car.
Okay. So two things.
Yeah.
What's a makeup product you can't live without, and what's a skincare product you can't live without?
SPF. That's the esthetician in me. The makeup artist wants to say brows.
Okay.
Yeah. I think as long as you protect yourself, brows and lashes, that's
those are top. Okay. So do you have any advice for anybody who may be trying to go into the beauty and wellness?
Yeah, I would say, that's a good question. Advice for anyone in this, but take time to study who you are and what your story is. People want you. And you will be surprised how many people see themselves in you. So just be honest and open about your story, and create boundaries around that too, because you don't have to tell, everything, but figure out what you're comfortable with, and your people will find you.
I love that. So
Yeah.
let the people know where they can find you at.
Yeah, so they can find me, my Instagram, everything is the same, FatimaAnnButler.com, Instagram, Fatima Ann Butler. Yeah, just those two places.
That's good. And Go Off and Create is also the same. So Instagram and YouTube, Go Off and Create podcast. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.